Hello, this is Mr. Timchek's class, and we're going to learn how to set your rafters, and set your ridge today. In this portion of the video, it's part of the whole kind of series of videos of making a whole entire roof system here. So the first thing I'm going to do is set my ridge post, all right, to support my ridge board. Now, how I got the measurement of how high to have my post is I had to do some math. And if you see here, all right, how to figure out your ridge board height, you do the pitch, all right, times 1/2 the span minus 3/4 divided by 12, and add that to the height above plate. The height above plate is the height of the rafter itself, all right, right here. So where the rafter meets the double top plate to the top of the actual edge of the rafter, there it is right there. And this one was 1.5 inches. So I did that math and ended up with 10 7/16. All right, I did the span, it's 36 inches, 9/12 pitch, which was predetermined, and then minus 3/4 because the ridge is 3/4 is 1/2 inch wide because it's a 2x, and each side shares a portion of that. So 1/2 divided by 2 is 3/4, and then you divide it by 12, add the 1.5 inches height above plate from the rafter, and that's how we got the height here. Now, if you're hand nailing this, one easy way to set your post is to get a block, all right, here, put it right where you need it. Where my post is going to be, all right, my gable end post to hold up the ridge is halfway in between here. But one way to set this post is get a block, just nail it in to one edge. Just use a couple 8-penny nails. Oh, there goes my ridge post. All right, and all I'm gonna do is now put this right here, and so I'm gonna toenail it. And when I toenail it, it's gonna make it a lot easier to keep that exactly where I want it, because I'm not worried about it moving a little bit further to one side when I'm hammering in this way. All right, so I can just get that beat right there. I'm just gonna toe this in. Put one more in. Want to blunt the nail. All right, it's good. I can just beat this block off, and I'm good to go. All right, so there's my post. Next up, I already set the post in the back. The next up is setting my ridge. You want to make sure that the ridge is crowned up. All right, this is such a short piece, it's not too big of a deal. And we're just going to nail it onto our post. Set our post right here. And I'm just going to screw it on, actually. All right, set back here. And then I'm going to screw it in up at the front. All right, there we go. Now it's just a couple of screws or nails that you need to use. The rafters will hold it up tight. Whoa, kind of missed there. I'll just get it on the cheek here. All right, set the ridge. All right, now it's time for the rafters. Here's our first rafter. Look at that. The top of this rafter is right at the height of our top of our ridge. That's exactly what you want. If it isn't, maybe it was a bad cut. Maybe it was bad math. You know, it could be a bunch of things. Now, what I like to do is kind of nail down here first. All right. I'm going to put one nail there. And then I'm going to set one toenail right here. All right. Now the first rafter, you can just nail in from this side. It's a little easier. You can see with me switching ladders back and forth, this is a lot easier when you got two people. I'm just going to screw this in. Get that nice and lined up. Okay, get the second rafter. Sometimes you just need a little adjustment. Nothing to. A little bit of hammering can't solve. There we go. That's pretty good. I'll try the other rafter. I did not cut these rafters, but that's okay. Students are learning. All right. All right. I kind of like the first one better. Right. And then at the top, it's got nailed. Send in one from the cheek. All right, and we're good. Just gonna get the last two on. Now usually your rafters are 16 on center or 24 inches on center. So I'm just gonna turn this sideways a little bit and show how I'm gonna do this. So for my case and purposes, I'm just gonna show how you mark your ridge. All right, so let's just say I wanted it 16 on center. It's a lot like laying out your wall. All right, 3/4 on each side of 16 inches. I'm gonna mark the top. I'm gonna mark the sides. I'm just gonna carry it over on the other side. And sometimes what I always forget to do is mark the plate, but that's all right, I can still do that. Just for my example here, I'm just gonna change it up just a little bit. I didn't like how that was gonna sit with my mock-up example here. So you gotta mark your ridge on both sides. I even mark the top, and you have to mark your double top plate. So I'm just gonna go over here. Well, I'll just install this rafter while I'm at it. Line it up. Well, that's a good fit. Right where I want it. I cut this rafter. Yeah, just screw it in. One thing about screws, it'll draw in a twisted ridge board, but you want to keep your ridge board nice and straight, that's for sure. Got to put in another nail. And just gotta turn it around. Do this one. And I'm gonna just mark out my layout. It's important that your layout matches from your ridge to your double top plate. Make sure everything's all good. Not too bad. I'm just gonna shift this around so I can nail it off. Oh, that's not the one I'm working on. This is the one I'm working on. And I'll tow it in back here. You can kind of see where I'm working on. All right. Kind of went full circle on that. Rafters is definitely something that you'd like to have a couple people to work on with. All right, but the ridge is straight. The rafters are nicely placed flush against the ridge. There's no giant gaps or anything like that. Everything looks pretty good. So that's how we install the ridge and installing your rafters. You just kind of keep doing that all the way down. Next, we'll be talking about installing gable end studs.